It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.
Hello, model citizens. Welcome to Humanity Junction. Tonight on Trains and Tech, we're going to talk about what's next on my layout and possibly do some programming of some of my switch machines. We'll see if we get that far. We'll see how things go. Any indication about how things are going to go can be probably determined by this little story. Right before the show, I was just kind of walking around admiring the track work that I had laid, and I was looking at one joint between a switch machine and one of the sidings, and I was like, something looks wrong, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. The switch machine was like, it just wasn't lining up correctly. So I'm looking at it, I'm looking at it, and all of a sudden I realize that somehow I've got a piece of code 80 track connected to code 55 track. And if you don't know the difference, basically code 80 track is, 80 and code 55 track's 55. So different heights, right? I guess that's the easiest way to explain it. Now, I don't know where this code 80 piece of track came from, but it somehow made it on the layout. So I ripped it out, and now I have a section of my layout with some missing track. You can see these are the wires coming out right here. So before the show, that piece of track was installed, and if it's any indication, if it's any indication as to how today's show is going to go, I think that's probably going to be a good example. But before we get to that point, I thought I would share a little bit of an adventure that I had this weekend. This weekend, I got the opportunity to go to what has been described to me as one of the, if not the best running layout in this area. And that layout is Perry Squires, Chalmette. I forget the exact name of what he calls his layout, but basically it's, oh, there it is. It says it right there. Pittsburgh, Chalmette, and Northern Railroad. So yeah, just a speed bump. Yeah, it was a little bit of an uphill climb that I didn't need. But so Perry Squires layout is an HO scale layout set in October of 1923, so just over 100 years ago. And he actually built a building and was going to move the layout from its current location into this new building. And he ultimately decided that this layout was more than enough to try and maintain, and he didn't need to make a bigger layout. But this was just this was a lot of fun. There were some new faces there, but also some regulars from the operating kind of world in this area. I did zoom in on the track plan a little bit just to kind of get a sense of the layout. It interchanges with the Pennsylvania Railroad. That was one of the jobs I worked, was this interchange here. Right here, there's this big area here, and so the interchange I was just talking about, you drive the train all the way back here, all the way up into basically back here, and you can't really get back there, so you don't really know whether your train's running or not. But things run so well that you're throwing all your turnouts and you're doing everything on the front panels, and you're basically switching your train on this little junction back here as you navigate the layout. A lot of the main stuff I did was I was working in Hornell, New York, and I was bringing trains through Moraine and either going to Angelica or going to what was it? It wasn't Weedville. It started with a W. It was something back into here. So I was coming in through this this hole in the wall here as well, and it was just really it was just a really good experience. There is a picture of me out there operating on this layout that was taken by somebody else that was there. If you've ever wanted to see a puffball forest and how well it could look, there are many, 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 many puffballs on this layout, and it just looked absolutely incredible. Here's a view. There were a lot of Ys on the layout. Being in 1923's layout, there was a lot of, what do you call them? Steam locomotives, that's what they're called. So a lot of Ys on the layout in case you needed to turn the trains around. You can see all the track was hand laid. Lots of nice little area specific. That's that word that I just can't say. Just can't say. I gotta believe these were custom done cars. These steam locomotives, the Chalmette cars, they ran extremely well. Everything was soundtracks decoders. One thing that I was very interested on the layout, and it's because of some of the projects I'm working on, are these switch stands. And it was just really neat seeing the old school switch stands out on the layout, various different versions of it. More puffballs. They were everywhere. They were definitely everywhere. But just, you know, some areas were pretty simple, you know, like just here's just some, you know, ballast and ground cover. But the switch stands were just so detailed that it really made a big difference. And I liked the backgrounds were really simple. So your eye wasn't drawn off into the distance. Your eye is really drawn down into the layout because of how simple the backgrounds to everything are. So I wanted to share some of these pictures. I do learn things every time I go uh, to these different layouts. This was very neat. So this, I think they called them smash, what do they call them? Smash plates? Smash something. The idea being is that this was a diamond, so to control the diamond, these plates, block the tracks. And I asked, does this thing actually work? And it actually does. There's a rotating dial on the switch panel on the fascia, and when you turn it, these paddles actually flip from one orientation to the other. And yeah, it's simple, but it really had a big effect on the just like really getting into the time period, and just a really incredible detail on the layout. Here's a little bit of a close-up of the switch machine, the little green and red little like plastic whatever those things are called. The other thing that I did is I started taking a lot of pictures of the fascia. When we get to looking behind me a little bit more, I don't think there's a mirror. Are you talking about in which one? This one? Oh, I don't think they're mirror. They're little like crystal, plastic bead crystal things. Not a mirror. Smashboards. Thank you, Nathan. That is correct. Smashboards. So when we get back here, I'll show you. I've been working a little bit on the fascia, however you want to say it. So I've just, every layout I go to, I kind of take a look at how things are labeled, what, how the car cards are stored, especially, I'm doing car cards and waybills. So there you go. Jewel lens. That's good. There you go. Lynn's eating dinner. I wonder what kind of industry. I don't know what this is. Oh, clay. Apparently it's a clay industry. St. Mary's Clay. He had a couple different ways of holding his car cards. This was one of them. This was obviously in the area that had 2 decks. So this was just an easy way to make the car card storage nice and small. He also had this. This was a part of the main yard. He had all the car cards and car card boxes underneath a little piece of decorative molding that has a bunch of ridges in it that hold all the clips and all of the pens and pencils and uncoupling tools and all that good stuff. It was a phone system, just a party line phone system. So you would pick up the phone and you'd have to tell the dispatcher where the heck you were calling from. Here's another example of how the car cards were getting stored in a nice little set of row houses here in the back as well. So yeah, different people doing different things, and I like getting out there and seeing the different things people are doing. So I don't know if it was specifically no drinking down there, but most people didn't have drinks with them. I think I don't know. I don't know whether it's just the area or whatnot, but there's no putting drinks on the layout. There's no, open bottles near the layouts. In general, the only people that will have drinks at the layout are people that are like running the yards, or like the dispatcher, people that don't really have the opportunity to walk away. Everyone else just, walks away, gets a drink, and comes back. I don't know about other people, but I'm pretty good at not needing too much to drink in a 3-hour afternoon op session. But so some people like it. It's a big part of model railroading for some people. So, you know, I get it, but yeah, a lot of these layouts you don't bring your drinks near the layout. It's just I don't know. I guess I'm curious, like for the people out there, for the people in chat, you know, why don't I even make this a poll? Let's make this a poll just for fun of it, because now that we've asked the question, start a poll. Now, I guess I'm gonna say, let's make it generic. Do your area allow drinking next to the layout? All right, so let's see what people say. Start a poll. In general, just kind of guess a little bit, but I think isn't it rule 8, I thought was the no alcohol rule. Is it rule 9? I thought it was rule 8, but anyway. Heath, include the orange fingers Doritos. That is true as well. You don't want to have food at your op sessions that get stuff on your fingers. Although it's good to also check when you go to an op session whether it's okay. Like if something derails, like is it okay for you to re-rail it, or should you, you know, ask the layout owner to re-rail it? So yeah, so I wasn't specific. So the drinks could be anything from water to alcohol. The idea of just, do you allow, or have you been to op sessions, and I would say, you know, just based on the majority or whatnot, that allow drinking actually, you know, at the layout as well. And yeah, Artie, I get that as well. It definitely depends on how hot or cold or whatnot in the layout room. So here's a little thing that I thought I would share with everybody. A lot of people were asking me about the subway, and you can see the subway here, and you can see the subway here, but it's gonna run hidden all the way back around here. And people kept asking, what am I gonna do if the subway gets stuck back here? Like, how am I gonna get it out? And originally I kind of said, I'm not too worried about it. I can kind of reach under and around and get to it. But when I was building out this area, I temporarily attached this 5-inch piece up top. And all of a sudden it like clicked in my head. I was like, wait, why don't I just make this 5-inch piece up here removable? So I got all the car cards in, car card boxes. I've got these little ledges right here, so you can maybe make out, I don't know, let's see, maybe if I switch to this, will it be a little better? Can you see it? So I've got a tablet here. This is to control turnouts and whatnot. So I've got a little shelf that sits in. I've got the car card boxes, not labeled yet. But what I realized is I can make this removable and just have this drop in. And now I've got access to the subway should I need it. And it's really easy. It just comes in and out. And obviously I'm going to paint this green and it'll all kind of go away. I can't put it on a hinge because it actually slips in behind the car card boxes. And I thought a lot about putting it on a hinge, but I didn't want to have to empty out the car card boxes every time I needed to get in there, because that's how like things get messed up or, you know, moved around. So having this piece be removable like this ended up working out really, really well. And it's, I mean, you can see how quickly it came out. It's just 3 screws along the, you know, one on each end, one in the middle, and that's it. It just goes, you know, back in right like that. So it was a nice little detail that ended up being a lot more simplistic. Yeah, no, the boxes are stationary. very much on purpose. The boxes and everything are stationary. I could use magnets, but do I need to use magnets? I guess is kind of the question. I don't mind. I'm using these truss head screws. I don't know if you can. Let's see if I hold it up here. It might. I'm using these truss head screws, and I don't mind the look of these. So, and by using these screws, it basically allows me to have all the fascia removable. And it's pretty easy to remove. And worst case, I would fill it and come up with other solutions as well. Velcro's got some problems with it, but yeah, Velcro would be an option. I'll be honest with you, this works so much better than I ever imagined that, Velcro, magnets, all that stuff, just don't need it. It's just not needed at all. Just to take a look real quick, here's the layout. This is the part that I basically have completed. This switch right here that I'm kind of highlighting, that you can kind of see near the top left. That is the northernmost point of the layout that I have laid. All of the track from this point around to the car float, sorry, not the car float, but all the south staging stuff has been laid, and all of the turnouts and everything, because I did all of the wiring and everything ahead of time, theoretically, I should be able to program switch machines. So I thought we would attempt that. I don't know how well this is going to work. I've already found one problem tonight, as I pointed out earlier. So this could go off with a hitch, or this could be a big disaster. John Arthur says, I like to keep it simple, stupid. Every time I've tried something more complicated than it needs to be, it's bitten me in the ass. And I couldn't agree more. There are, well, I know I'm saying that, right? I'm the guy that makes things unbelievably complicated in certain areas, and then in other areas, I make them extremely, extremely simple. So I just realized there is one thing that I have not done yet, and that's actually turned the layout on. Let me, I should probably do that if I'm going to attempt to program a switch machine. Everything that's under the layout, I do have on smart switches and stuff like that. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just going on into my my smart app, which I'm using the TP-Link Casa smart plugs, and I've just got things turned on. Let's see if they came on or not. Yep, I got flashing lights. So I can power on the track. Let's actually not power the track on yet. I need to do one thing first before we get to powering on the track. It's a bunch of different switches. I have smart plugs. Yeah, just a power strip that's a smart plug, and I use those around the layout. There's like one in every corner. So whatever is connected in the corners, work out and stuff like that. You're just an overly complicated guy. Yeah, I know. Yes, those were definitely words of wisdom for John Arthur. John, how is the new build going? John took his layout that was in one room, was able to move it to another room and make it bigger, and he does have some videos out of that moving process, but I don't know that I've seen one. Define smart plug. A plug that has more intelligence than I do. Smart plug being a Wi-Fi connected device. I have mine all connected up to the Amazon overlords, and I can just, you know, speak out into the universe and turn things on and off. One of the big advantages that gives me as well is when I go upstairs and I'm sitting on the couch watching TV and I realize, oh no, I didn't turn off something downstairs. I can just yell out at the wall and have them turn out. Yeah, they make strips that are smart. Are you gonna make me go look this up for you? Give me a second and I will post up a link for everybody, the ones that I use. They make them in 3 outlet and 5 outlet ones. In my opinion, just get the 5 outlet one. Don't bother with the 3. Of course, the only one that I found is the 3. Here we go. Here's the 5. Oh, the 5s are expensive right now. I have not paid this much for a 5, but this seems to be what they are right now. I like Wi-Fi devices. Some people do not like Wi-Fi devices, but I've had a lot of success with them. So, you know, that's how I do it. That's how I'm doing it. You know, I'm forgetful, right? I'm forgetful, so it just makes it easy as well. Yeah, yes, you do have to get over saying that, and it's so it's an actual strip where every outlet on the strip is its own smart plug. You can get individual ones as well. I just because I am building this now, I just put in the other. Yes, I am on the internet of everything. Let's take a look at something real quick over here on the layout. You can see I got my cutters out. I don't know if you can quite make it out or not, but I still have the wires, the switch machine throw wires sticking out on some of these. This is the last section that I glued down, and I am going to want to cut those off. A trick that some wise person mentioned, I don't know who mentioned it, but basically put a piece of tape on it. It kind of keeps that piece of wire from flying up into your face. I don't know about anybody else, but you know, getting wires into the eyeballs is not a very good plan of attack. I went through some research of like what should I get to cut these, and I couldn't really decide, but ultimately I'm just using these Klein, these are Klein side cutters. I believe the part number is 228, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, these actually D248 is what these are. D2488. So 8 is the size. They're 8-inch pliers, and it's 248. There's also a 228. You want to use the hardened ones though. You don't want to use the other ones. Now, here's a little bit of a caveat. Let me just say this. I don't know if I'm getting these short enough or not. I might have to make them a little bit shorter, but I think I'm getting in close enough when I'm doing this. They are not insulated cutters. That's why I kept the layout off. But you know, you just come in here, you take your time, you get in nice and close. You know, the little flag makes it kind of easy to hold on to it. And they just come off. Easy as that, lickety split. That one I should have gotten a little closer as I shoot the little piece off. I know you can't see it. I got 2 more to go over here. So I guess the next thing is I'm not sure exactly the best way to show this, but I'm going to attempt to show you guys the whole process of the programming of this. So let's talk about this. I'm going to be using this panel right here to program the turnouts on the layout. Now it's starting to read the things. What we were snipping was, so here, switch machine. It's got the wire, the wire coming up out of the out of the switch machine, and they're too long. So I needed to shorten those so that trains can run through them. I didn't want to cut them until after I had the tracks glued down, because I was afraid if I lifted the tracks up too far, they'd pop out, and then I'd have a little short wire that would be almost impossible to get back through the throw bar. So I cut them afterwards. JMRI. So I spent some time. We don't need to look at that one. I meant this one. I spent some time in JMRI. This is a JMRI panel that I built using the layout editor. This is correct. Do not use rail cutters. That's why I specifically mentioned the Klein side cutters that I used. Those are hardened specifically for cutting that kind of metal. Don't use any of those little cutters. Just don't use them. It doesn't work. You can try it. You can try it all you want. So this is the JMRI panel that I built. I spent a little bit of time with it. I've built so many different panels here. I'll show you. There's another panel back here. This is one that I built earlier, but I just thought it looked kind of, kind of goofy, a little more cartoonish. Same functionality so far, but then I have this one here. I can go and click. If you look in the top left, up where it says north staging, I'm clicking on the button. The button is changing from green to yellow. And I'm actually clicking on the button in a web page, not actually in JMRI. So you're looking at JMRI right now. I'm going back here to the tablet, right? So I'm no longer near the computer, and I can click the button on here, and you can see on your screen that it's changing. So my goal with the layout was to not have like a whole bunch of buttons all over my fascia, that anytime anything changed, you'd have to move the buttons and rebuild your panel. I wanted to be able to throw any of the switches from a touch panel. So, when I was sitting on the couch, I started building this out, and this right here, this is actually a web page. This web page feeds back to my JMRI instance. So the JMRI is, yes, it's on a Mac. JMRI is on a Mac Mini that is under the layout. And then this right here is a web page on a PC computer. This that I have back here that I'm using, this is an Android tablet, or I can just, I can dial it up on my phone, and, here it is on my, it's showing the URL, but, from my phone as well, I'm just holding my phone up, and if we go to, let's go back to this one. So using my phone, you can see that top left one is turning on and off. So the way you program, pretty unprofessional. Well, nobody paid me to do it, so I don't know. I think you need to be paid. All of my turnouts are either these Cobalt switch machines here, or I've got some MP5, MTB MP5s here, but the majority of them are this. Yes, there are no manual throws, but that is why, I don't know if you can see it. So here's the throw bar wire. Right next to it here, there's a little pin sticking out. And this is a little prototype that I'm mocking up. And here is a button that you can press that is going to be the local control for the turnout. So I just told you I'm very interested in those switch stands lately. This is going to be a mock switch stand that'll be right at the turnout that I'll be able to push. I know it's hard to see, but that I'll be able to push next to the turnout that'll be able to switch it locally. So you will not have to use the tablets, but there will be tablets all around the room. I'm not editing the HTML. JMRI has a web server, and JMRI is serving it's actually XML is what the panel is written in. I am just using their WYSIWYG editor because I don't, whatever. So yeah, I have a backup already if JMRI fails. The button that I'm talking about here wires directly into the bottom of the switch machine, but the switch machine will still need power in order to switch it. Yeah, Joey, it's funny you say that. I was posting up some questions on the JMRI groups.io, and I was asking, like, how can I split this up? Because I've got there's kind of 4 sections: top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. And I want to make each of them their own separate panels as well as one bigger panel. And I said, like, what's the easy way to do that? And a couple of the guys are like, well, you could just edit the XML file. And I was like, what? Dennis, not CATS. All in JMRI. CATS does not have a built-in web server. So for me to send it over to the iPad, or not the iPad, it's actually a Fire tablet. So for me to send it over to that Fire tablet over here, I'm just using JMRI, and I'm just going to program a lot of the logic myself with the help of a lot of other people. So if there's anybody out there that knows XML, I might, you might be getting a phone call. Oh man, this is one of those things about model railroading, right? I mean, there are so many different elements to this hobby that it really is an interesting world we live in. So let's see. I'm trying to pick an easy one to start with, and of course this cable's too short. I'm moving the camera because I wanna try and program a switch machine, but I'm gonna need to get in here kind of close to be able to do it so you can see it. So the switch machines, the DCC concept switch machines, when you get them, they are all centered. Switch machines come centered so that when you are lining up your track and your switch machines, they are in the centered position. So when you first set the DCC address, that's when you'll actually get them to throw. So you can kind of see this is essentially in the, in that center position right now. I realize my hand's in the way, but you can kind of make out it's in the center position. So what I'm going to attempt to do, yeah, just JMRI. XML is trivial. It's just a big fancy word. XML is just a text document, but yeah, it is a big fancy word. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to need to reach under the layout. There is a little switch. Let's see if we go to this one here. There's a little switch on the bottom right here, and you pull the switch down When you pull the switch down, you're in program mode. And when you flip the switch up, you're not in program mode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the switch down. I'm going to hit the appropriate button on the tablet for that switch machine. And the switch machine will not move, but theoretically it's going to program. And then I'll flip it back up. And then once I flip it back up, I should be able to then throw the turnout from any of the multitude of devices. David, I don't. I think I know what I'm going to do to make a modified switch stand for N scale. N scale is just so small that it won't be a prototypical looking switch stand. In essence, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the two ties coming out with just like a little like Hershey Kiss shaped thing that the pin is going to go through, and my switch stand is just going to be the head of the pin, and that's about. Mike, check it out. I mean, I don't know that I need to use cats. Cats has a very specific look to it, whereas JMRI you can modify things a little bit easier. So, yeah, I don't know. But I'm going to go attempt to program this switch, and we'll see if it's going to work. I don't know if it's going to work. I just programmed these panels. Theoretically, I programmed the panels correctly. I might not have programmed the panels correctly. I don't know. So I'm going to reach under my layout, which you may or may not be able to see, and flip that switch. You will then see me activating the button, and the one that I am lined up on, just so everybody knows, is this one here. So it is, oh, you can see my cursor. So it's the one where my cursor is. It's right above where it says South and right above where the Humanity Junction logo is. So I will go and do that in a moment. So that's the genius of the way I'm building it. Is the switch stand is purely decorative. You're not touching the switch stand. It is the pin that goes through it that yeah. So all right, so let's go over here. I'm gonna go let's see, reach my hand under the layout, reach around and throw that switch into the set position. Now I'm coming over here to the panel, and if you look now on the right on the panel above where it says South, I'm clicking the button on and off. They say to do it a couple times. I don't know why they say to do it a couple times. Who knows what I just forgot to do? Who knows? Anybody? What I forgot to do is the thing I forget to do all the time. All the time. I just forgot to do something that is going to make everything that I was just doing not work. So let's go down here, click on the Y throttle server. You see this button right here in the top right corner that's red? Uh-oh. The layout is shorting. Well, that didn't last long. What could possibly be shorting the layout? All right, so I'll be honest with you guys. I actually programmed one of these already, and it actually worked. Because I know I say like, you know, I programmed one of them with my throttle. I didn't program one of them with JMRI. So something that was the first thing I looked for, Robert, is the first thing I looked for is Did I have snippers on the track? None of the, just to reduce any issues, none of the frog wires are connected. Oh, I figured out what the problem is. How did I not see this? How did I not see this? All right. So watch the camera closely. Oh, and of course it's not. Okay, so I'm just making Dennis dizzy now. So this is the switch that I'm working on. And I don't know why, but I couldn't figure out what could possibly be shorting out the track. Anyone have any ideas? Oh, jeez. This is a, what's the brand? Ribbon. Oh, where is it? Where is it? There we go. A ribbon rail alignment gauge. Yes, it is made of metal. I had it laying between the tracks. Oh boy. Yeah, I think this is very accurate. Short between the ears. Yeah, ribbon. Oh, good. So I'm not the only one. This is part of the process, right? I mean, this is the reality. This is stuff that just happens. So, would you look at that? I switched the power on the layout, and you'll never believe it. Never believe it. Switch the power on. Now I don't have any shorts anymore. I also don't really have any shorts anymore in my pants because I pretty much just shit my pants. I don't like how much of a gap there is. I don't know. I didn't notice. It looks like a much bigger gap in the camera than it is in person. It almost feels like no gap, but anyway, okay. Ignore the last 10 minutes of the stream where I had multiple issues and multiple things kept going wrong. We are going to pretend that they did not happen, that all those problems didn't happen. And we are going to move on with the programming. And I'm adjusting the camera because I just realized there's something neat that may happen that I kind of want people to be able to see if it happens. Okay, here we go again. Jeez, this is tough. All right, so you can see up here, where is it? You can see here now, track power is on. Whew, that was tough, right? Track power is on. I'm gonna go reach under the layout again. I'm gonna flip the little switch. Switch is now in the set position, in the down position. If you now look above the south label, I don't know why. One of these turnouts is moving. Well, I've got one of the turnouts programmed wrong over there, but this is the one that I want to work on. So let's switch this back now. And theoretically, it should throw. And has anybody noticed the exciting thing? At least it's exciting to me. Oh, come on, Jub. Who makes a good rail stretcher? Exactly, Tony. Exactly. All right, so exciting thing going on there, right? Throw the turnout. Turnout throws. The LED changes. It actually works. And I got lucky. I completely got lucky. It just happens to be that the LEDs are throwing or showing up in the correct direction. And when you're at the operator position, meaning like down a little bit lower, the lights aren't very bright. So yes, you can see the lights, but it's not like they're like, you know, blinding you or anything like that. So I don't know what's going on, but I feel like I've got like 10 turnout motors moving now. So I definitely have some things to program. But yeah, so no blue smoke. I know. The big black smudge is that I am not going to put any ballast right around the throw bar. And I'm not going to glue anything. I'm not going to paint anything around the throw bar. So before I laid the turnouts, I painted some black under and around these areas so that when I do go back and ballast later, I don't have this, you know, this white color coming through. So the black smudges are there to hide, to essentially hide that it, yeah, so there won't be any ballast there because, you know, I don't want to get it all jammed up. They will be very helpful for nighttime ops. The reason I put them in though is if it wasn't apparent by tonight's festivities, I'm not always the best at I make mistakes. And one of the things I make mistakes at a lot is I make mistakes when I you know, when I'm setting my turnouts. So the lights are really for me to make my life easier so that I know what route I'm throwing in. And honestly, a big reason for the lights under the tracks are actually for this guy back here. So this is I'm gonna try and program this guy right now while we're waiting. So this guy back here is a double slip. Double slips can be notoriously difficult, at least for me, to know what direction they are thrown in. So what has always kind of helped me with a double slip is if you're just able to set a route, or if you're able to, you know, have some indication to know which way the train's going to go. So the LEDs are really there for me because I'm kind of clueless when it comes to this sort of thing. This is a little hard reaching under here and kind of blindly reaching around. I'm doing a couple of them as I go. I just did these two. I am doing this one up there right now. You can kind of follow, if you follow along on the JMRI panel, you can kind of see what I am, you know, pushing. So I am pulling the switch down. Hopefully, I may have just set the wrong one. Pulling down on the switch. Let's see if I can do it. Pull down on the switch. Throw it a couple times. Is it this one? No, it's this one. So I need to realign some of these things. I just noticed some of these are the alignment is a little off for where they are, which kind of makes it hard to figure out which is which. But you know, it's a process. So theoretically now, I can start throwing some turnouts. So let's see, this one, that should be this guy here, I think, if I'm doing that correctly. Yep, so that one's throwing. You can see the lights moving. Now I'm going to try throwing this one. This is the one going to the car float. And you can see now the LEDs are coming on and off. Let's try throwing this one, which should be this guy. Yep, you can see there's the LED that comes on. Now you can kind of make out, you can almost make out the green. There you can see the green. Throw that, it goes the other way. And of course that didn't work. So there's this guy working here. You can see the green there. And the yellow LED is not lighting up for some reason. And I haven't done that one yet, but so that's kind of the process. I don't know about locomotives, but I might have an op session next week. Yeah, planning ahead. I'm trying at least. Are you asking, Kyle, why I'm still up? Yeah, JD, you know, one of the things about YouTube as well is everybody shows everything and it's all perfect. So I don't mind showing the mistakes. I do make a lot of them. You can see, you know, one of the LEDs doesn't work. I do have to fix that. But all of my pre-wiring, in essence, you know, in a grand scale, is working out sort of well. Yeah, exactly, Joe. I mean, double slips, I love them because of the space they save, but boy, are they hard to figure out the alignment sometimes. So, you know, it's part of the way it is. Everyone's talking about Amherst now. I will be going to Amherst on Saturday at noon. We're going to do a get together over at the Mini Prince booth. He's going to go on lunch, and we're gonna take over, and we will, you know, we'll do what we do. But Bernard's been a big supporter of what we're up to on YouTube and has offered up his space for us to come hang out as well. Yeah, happy little accidents for Bob Ross. It's funny that you say that, how neat those shelves are. It is a disorganized mess to me. I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty good, but it is kind of a mess as well. But I'm not bringing the blue box. I've got a different setup this year that I still need to test to see if it's even going to work. But I've got a new plan this year. The blue box was a great gag. The problem was people didn't understand to use it as a mic, and I couldn't get people to like lift it up to their face. And Amherst is unbelievably loud. So a lot of the videos were great for the live streams, but the rewatch, the audio, it was just, the audio is just a little tough. So I will be there. I will be streaming again. What I am going to attempt to do is two different things. I'm going to attempt to do some 360 live streaming. So you'll be able to walk around with me throughout the show and see everything in 360 degrees, so you can take a little bit of your own tour as well as I'll be doing some streaming with my iPhone, because that worked out really well. Worked out really well last year, so I plan on doing that again. So I've been really having just a great time building all of this. The fascia is coming together really nicely. I mean, I'm very happy with how these tablets and everything have worked out. I'm very happy that these turnouts are kind of somewhat working. I do still need to figure out an operations scheme and get all the ops stuff set up, but you know, that's all a matter of time. It'll you know, it'll get there eventually, as they say, but I'm just having a lot of fun, and I just want to share that fun with people, and I hope people are enjoying the adventure that I'm on and following along as well. So, you know, ask questions if there's any questions about what I'm up to. I am more than happy to share. Nothing that I'm doing I haven't stolen from other people at some point or another. So, you know, I want to pass it on, and, you know, take it or leave it, right? I mean, some of it'll work for some people, some of it won't work for others. But from the city that never sleeps, farewell, model citizens.
It's all about humanity.